I'm not the bad guy for selling everything I got from my parents. My parents have a habit of buying gifts for me that are actually gifts for the family. My younger siblings got gifts that are just for them, but more often than not whatever I got for my birthday, Christmas, or a special occasion and actually meant to be either shared with my brothers or the whole family. For example, a few years ago, they bought my brother each a bicycle for their birthday. I got a Switch whenever I was playing in my room, and my brother wanted to play. I was forced to bring it out so we could all play. But I wasn't allowed to ride their bicycles. Well, I'm going to school in another state in the fall, and I found a summer job there. I will be living with an uncle and helping him around his house as a payment. I gathered up all my gifts to take with me, since they were mine. I was told to leave the Switch since I will be busy with school. Instead, I sold literally everything my parents have forced me to share and used the money to buy myself stuff to replace it. I did this over the week before I flew out. The Switch was the last thing to do. I sold it to a friend from school. That was a week ago. My parents and brothers have been begging me non-stop about being ungrateful and greedy bad guy. Honestly, it makes me smile. I don't think I was in the wrong to sell my property. I don't really need anything from them since I have savings, my job, my money from selling my stuff, and my uncle. He's on my side since he thinks my parents were being dicks to me. He was the one who suggested selling my stuff. So what do you think? Am I? I'm not the bad guy. I feed my kids stale food and call my wife lazy. Me and my wife have 2 kids, 4 and 7. My wife is pregnant with our 3rd kid now. She's 20 weeks pregnant. So my daughters have never been picky about their food since I used to cook all meals and never introduced them to junk food. However, 2 months back, I was assigned to a new project at work and started working long hours, so I have been unable to cook as often now. I wanted to hire a cook because my wife was having severe pregnancy symptoms. But my wife said she wanted to try cooking for our kids, and she also didn't like the idea of a stranger at our house. I agreed to her idea since she suggested it herself. For the first months or so, she cooked pretty delightfully for the kids and both of us as well. However, after that, she reduced the quality of the meals. When I mean this, she started making easy cook foods for the kids. She also started giving them junk food as snacks so that they wouldn't be that hungry for real meals. I chalked it up to her pregnancy nausea for the first few weeks, but last week, when I prepared an elaborate meal for the family on Sunday, the kids refused to even touch the food because they wanted the usual buttered noodles. So I told my wife that I'll be cooking all the meals from now onwards because the kids are getting spoiled from eating junk food all the time. She got mad at me and said that she's trying her hardest and I should be more appreciative. I told her no one forced her to cook and I had already suggested hiring a cook, but she was the one who refused. She said that I don't understand her discomfort with having a cook and that hiring one was out of the question. She also told me that I can cook all meals if I think it's so easy to feed the kids healthy food. I told her that I will do just that. That very night, I stayed up making different kinds of healthy food options for the week. Fruit, salad, chicken stir-fry, pasta sauce with veggies, mushrooms, and tomatoes that blended it all, cauliflower soup, and banana bread. I froze everything so they can be reheated during the week. I've been just reheating food through the week and giving it to kids. Since they want only noodles, I add the sauce and chicken stir-fry to the noodles along with grated cheese. They just eat it without detecting any veggies in it. For their school lunches, I packed them ham and cheese, tuna chicken sandwiches the night before along with fruit salad and chocolate milk. They got a slice of banana bread for after-school snack. sandwiches and soup for dinner for me and my wife. My wife told me the food tastes good, but it's stale food, so she doesn't think it's any better than what she used to cook for the family. I told her at least I was putting effort into the meal, unlike her, who was using the kids' picky behavior as an excuse to be lazy. She got mad at me and said that she wasn't being lazy and that the kids really were picky. Now she's not speaking to me for the past 2 days. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for saying I'm not going to dinner if a baby is there? I'm meeting my partner's mom for the first time tonight. She lives kind of far away, and combined with work schedules and the fact that my S.O. Blake rarely gets along with her, we haven't met. Their relationship got stable enough to a point where she was coming around, and tonight we were supposed to meet up at the restaurant, just the three of us. But then she drops a bomb that she's going to bring not only her boyfriend, but a 1-year-old baby as well. Here's the thing, I hate babies. And working in a restaurant when I see them almost daily, the last thing I want to see is that. Plus, it will be really difficult to talk to Blake's mom if she absorbed in caring for a child. Which, by the way, it's not even hers. She's just babysitting as the kid's bio-dad is a pause and won't take the kid for the bio-mom and apparently cannot find anyone else to babysit. I decided that I don't want to deal with that drama, and I don't want to be around a baby for a whole evening. So I told Blake that we can reschedule if he wants, but I'm not going if the baby is, because I feel like it wouldn't be a great first meeting. Blake did side me on this, but I'm wondering if I'm being a bad guy by not meeting his mother just because of a child. So am I? Am I the bad guy for telling my girlfriend she should have told me she spoke my language? I recently started dating my girlfriend, who was a long-time acquaintance of mine at work before. We have been together for only 6 months, but I've truly never been happier. I had to go out with my cousin and ask Alex if she wanted to join me. She only happily did. I'm originally Greek, so it's my cousin. Sometimes we'd slide in a few words. Somewhere in the conversation, Alex started joining in. It was a moment of shock for me because she never mentioned she spoke Greek before. I was saying pretty basic things with my cousin then, but she's heard me speak on the phone, cursed to myself, and never mentioned she spoke it. I didn't say anything then, but once I got to my place with Alex, I called her out on it. She said she speaks multiple languages as a hobby, and it was not a big deal. I made her count. There were 13 that she was fluent in. My point was, as my girlfriend, she should have told me earlier about this, and she heard my conversation around the house and never commented on them. They were mostly about my mom's difficult health situation, and she doesn't want that to be shared. She doesn't even tell my brother. I know, because we have a special mother-daughter relationship. So I only ever talked to my mom in Greek in front of Alexandra, and it was mostly in the car while we were both on it. I also explained to her that it's something about her health that she's not comfortable with me sharing. Also, my mom can speak English. So what do you think? Is this okay? Am I the bad guy for leaving my husband at home while I spend the week at my brother's because of how he buys groceries? I've been in a committed relationship with my husband for 17 years, and overall things have been great. We have had a few rough patches, but what's important to note is that while he earns more than me and is considered the main provider, I have a substantial trust fund that ensures we're financially stable. I work part-time as a teacher while attending university, earning less than him, and most of my income goes towards tuition. Our household income exceeds $200,000 annually, while the average in our area is below 50K. One ongoing issue we have is my husband's frugality. He likes to control my spending and have the final say on how he uses his earnings. It's worth mentioning that I've never used any of his income and have no intention to do so. However, the main point of contention between us is his frequent visits to food banks. Despite having more than enough food at home, he insists on going to food banks to save money. He intentionally looks disheveled and uses our beat-up cards to blend in, even though he's never experienced food scarcity. I've explained to him the need of food donation in our community, even showing him social media posts from local food banks, but he remains indifferent. I suggested her volunteer or donate to gain first-hand experience, but he refused. The unfortunate part is that since we're never short on food, most of what he brings home ends up getting thrown away. Today I discovered our fridge filled with fresh produce and meat that clearly didn't come from our regular grocery store. When I confronted him, he admitted to going to a food bank after seeing a Facebook post about donation of fresh food. People on social media were already asking if any was left, and there wasn't. I showed him those comments, but he brushed them off, claiming people should have gone it earlier. Exhausted by this situation, I packed a bag and went to stay with my brother for the weekend, asking for space to think things over. My husband accuses me of overreacting, being vindictive, and threatens to go back to the food bank regardless of my feelings. His family is also messaging me, calling me a bad guy, and arguing me to stop interfering with his choices. I turned off my phone, but now they're bombarding by messages. Thankfully, he supports my decision and ignores them. I want to enjoy the rest of my week without being angry at my husband. Yes, I could let this go and not scold him, but the food he takes could have gone to people who truly need it. I'm not leaving my husband, but I need a few days away to gain some clarity. Am I wrong for wanting this space or not? Am I the bad guy for making my husband take the day off without our sick kid instead of me? Kiddo came home with Pinky last night. Husband didn't notice when he picked her up, but by the time I got home it was obvious. I immediately went and got her the required drops to clear it up. Per our health unit rules, she has to be on drops for 24 hours and have no eye goop before returning to school. So someone has to stay home today. At best, she returns tomorrow. We ask everyone. 6 different family friends, no one is available, so one of us has to stay home. Here is the fact. I work in a healthcare. I have a full schedule of patients today, and I am only in clinic once a week, so rescheduling my day is challenging. There is no one to cover. This patient will have to wait at least another week to see me. He works in a warehouse and delivers building materials for contractors, builders, and homeowners. There are deliveries scheduled, but he didn't say anything was urgent. I have sick days and personal days remaining. He does not get sick days, but could move a vacation day. I am salaried and the breadwinner. He works hourly and will lose a day's pay, but he is working an extra day this weekend, so it will balance out. He will, however, lose the extra day and the overtime. I have already said that I will stay home tomorrow if needed, even though it will mean rescheduling a bunch more patients. But it's a clinic. I mean 4 days a week, so rescheduling it is a lot easier. So I'm at the beggar for making him take the day off unpaid. I'm at the bad guy for no longer bringing my child to the family event because my brother's child is on the spectrum. I have a twin brother, David. We were conceived through a donor as our dad is infertile. The donor has not disclosed the full information about himself at the time, and some important details only came up after we ended having our own children. David's kid, Ellie, is on a spectrum. She gets meltdowns when early stimulated and when she's not the center of attention. And if people don't pay her enough attention when she wants, she will have a meltdown too. It wouldn't be a problem, but as we found out recently, my son Ryan is also on the spectrum and is an exact opposite of Ellie. He gets concentrated on one thing and start excessively obsessed over it, as in asking questions, talking about it, and demonstrating it. Occurring new things in dinosaurs, especially predator dinosaurs. And unfortunately, it is something Ellie finds scary. When seeing them on the TV or going to the park that has dinosaur statues, she has this severe meltdown. As you can imagine, this didn't go well. Mother's Day was a disaster as Rain will have a meltdown if we won't let him go to watch dino documentaries, cartoons, or bring the dinos, and Ellie will have a meltdown if he does. I've spoken to my family about it and have suggested even hosting 2 different events or have one of us come into the event earlier and leaving before the other gets there. So at least the kids get to spend time with the family without getting distressed. However, it got immediately shut down. So I have told my family I will not be coming for Father's Day barbecues, as I don't think it is fair on Ryan and Ellie and will cause them unnecessary distress. And since they're not happy with the arrangement I have suggested, I'm still taking my daughter to see the family, just not at the family events or when Ellie is around. My parents and my brother and sister-in-law are now angry at me and calling me a bad guy and that I'm discriminating against my niece and her condition. But I don't think I am, and I feel like I'm looking out for the well-being of both kids, as I don't think it is worth of them getting stressed out. Am I the bad guy for not paying my daughter's tuition? My ex and I divorced 23 years ago because we disagreed a lot about priorities. I will just say right away that I work maybe too much in the beginning of my marriage. My career is very prestigious and I work hard to get where I am today. Anyway, our daughter Cassie lived with my ex and stayed with me on weekends. I paid child support and gave Cassie everything she could need or want. News, clothes, electronics, instruments, trips. You know, all she had it. As she got older, I tried to teach her lessons about work, good education, and a meaningful and lucrative career. Cassie is brilliant and could go EV if she wanted to. When she started applying for colleges, her mother guilted into remaining in state. I didn't want her to settle, but liked the idea of saving a few grand. 2 years and Cassie started to gradually drop out. I say gradually because she went from 18 credits and on the dean's list every semester to 12 credits, then 6, and failing biology and math. It didn't make sense. Eventually, she told me she couldn't do school anymore and just wanted to work and make her own money. What teenager doesn't want a free ride with no cares? I was paying for everything. All she had to do was study. After a screaming match, we stopped communicating for a period of time. Then just last week, she calls out of the blue to tell me that she lives on her own on the other side of the country. She and my ex are NC. She tells me that she's ready to go back to school, but will need me to pay. Hell no, I'm not an ATM, and since she's only 25, it's not really my responsibility anymore. My wife thinks I'm a bad guy, and my daughter does too. What do you think?